everybody, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And I'm John.
And I'm a little bit drunk. No, I'm just kidding. I'm done. Let's go.
Strap in, boys and girls. I think this is going to be a bumpy one. How is everyone doing? Don, I'll start with you.
That's a good idea.
Well, personally, yeah, everything's going great. I, did as requested. I got my Max app, and so prepared for today by watching 15 episodes of an animated Superman show, and then watched Blue Beetle. Actually, just got done with that, and even watched a little bit of House of the Dragon. So that's kind of been really busy with Max and DC stuff. Yeah, we kind of got tired, so it's like I can make the joke and say, "Ha ha ha!" Me and my wife fell asleep during the first episode, but we shouldn't have even attempted to. We were just tired, so I'm not blaming because we're generally very interested in House of the Wyverns. I mean, House of the Dragons. Sorry, I do that with Game of Thrones. I love Game of Thrones, but I will eternally bitch that they call Wyverns dragons. But okay, nonetheless, the ultra dork thing. So I'm not gonna die on that hill.
No, there's a lot of other hills that you get to die on
Yes.
doing this show. Oh my god. So is that it? Anything else new, fun?
That's it.
A lot of TV watching. All right. John, how are you? What would you like to share with the audience this week?
I had the last week off, and I thought, I'm going to get some work done. I'm going to do some work around the house. I'm going to work on my book. I'm trying to put the final draft together. None of that happened. On Tuesday, I found out, over last weekend, I found out that my roof was leaking. Basement door almost is like it's rotting through. So I had to pull the trigger on getting a new roof, which anybody here that owns a house, you know how that goes, right? So I'm out a ton of money. And then Wednesday, while I'm trying to figure out how much of my company stock I need to sell, which not everybody has, so I'm lucky in that case. I get up in the morning and my cat can't walk anymore. So 2 days in VRC hospital here in Pennsylvania in Malvern, and we're not sure how much time she's got left. So, it's just a great week, man. Just awesome. Oh yeah, and then a tree fell down in my backyard too, and it's too big for the new chainsaw I've got. So. I should be drinking right now, but I've had too much to do to drink. Although I will say I have lovely neighbors. It's been a while since I had really good neighbors, but these neighbors, the husband had nothing to do this weekend. Friday night, he gives me, he was just about to call me to ask about the cat, cause they take care of my cat when I'm away, him and his two little daughters. And, I sent him a message telling him all this crap. He comes over. We had a couple of drinks. We watched Free Guy and shot the shit. And man, having good neighbors makes a huge difference in the world.
Well, that's good. That's good. Hi, Kassan. John,
Don't you live by the Amish?
I do. They're not very good neighbors. Hard to watch TV with them.
Right, but can't you, dude? I've worked with
can't really call them either.
Yeah, no, you got to go over there. But Jebediah and the boys should be able to throw you a roof on, no problem. Like they can't.
Yeah,
that's true. But I'm looking at this. I might die in this place. Who knows? And the Amish can do it really cheap. But that's the thing. You in programming and in most businesses, there's the holy triangle. You can have a good, cheap, or fast. You can only pick two. So I'd rather it good and fast. I can't afford cheap right now. Weird as that sounds. So
I don't know. I think Jebediah can do it.
I
Oh,
said
sure.
where I come from. I live in Ohio. I'm just an hour or two away from Amish country, and from around here, Amish is quality. It's where you go get your furniture, and
Oh yeah, the furniture is like rock solid. I've got pieces
so,
from them. Yeah.
like I said, I've done insulation before, and they're just on the same work site as the Amish, and yeah, handy people.
Well, I got to remember, I the amount I'm paying is for a new security door in the basement, like everything, and new
Mhm.
insulation in the on the underside of the roof, which will probably save
Yeah,
me like 20-30 bucks a month in electric bill, from
yeah.
the heat and cooling.
So you got a secret room in the basement that you need a security door for. We're not going to dive any more into that. Everyone has seen
I
Silence
will.
of the Lambs.
I don't know what you're talking about. All I can say is I did make sure I got the soundproof one. Yeah. So yeah,
I can't touch that. I can't.
it's the external door. It was rusting. It's just I know that the younger audience here that watches us, like, a house is something that us old people were able to buy before like the financial situation of today. Someday, you may be able to give your kids one once you leave all your money to them, and well, who knows. Anyway, but houses are freaking expensive to upkeep, especially when I bought this one on the cusp of everything timing out. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's enough about me. Dave, go on. Bring us up a bit. What's going
Well,
on?
well, first off, I mean, I think Don kind of skipped something over. Wednesday was our birthday.
Oh yeah, it's
Did
true.
you do anything
Oh, yeah.
for your birthday?
I did. Other than take 3/4 of a day off and sit by a pool with my family, no. But it was great. I mean, wife made pineapple upside down cake, which is my favorite, and just had a great time with the core family there. Nothing special or spectacular, but I loved it nonetheless.
I went to the animal hospital emergency room for your birthday.
I'm sorry, man.
There's nothing you can do. Cat owners or pet owners would understand too.
Well, I
She's
just became a new cat owner. Actually, it's a funny that you're kind of dealing with an older one, and now I've got a little like kitten running around, just I mean zip zapping
oh,
crazy. So when you say your cat can't walk anymore, just to look at what they start as, and to think of that, it
Yeah.
is feels.
Yeah.
she is starting to walk again. The problem is she's not eating, and we all know what happens when
Right.
cats don't eat.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I'm doing everything I can. She's underneath the desk right now. She's my co-pilot for tonight. She'll rub up against my foot every once in a while, remind me that yeah, I'm still here. So
So
go on,
it
Dave.
was my
Happy birthday
it,
to both of you.
hey,
Yeah, and Dave, what about you, man? Did you go out with the lady or do anything?
yes, I went out with the lady. We went up to New Hope for the day. Local
Oh, great
reference.
place.
Yeah, those who don't know, New Hope's a little town north of Philly, not far from Philly, and they have it's like a little town. It's all artisan shops in there. It's like an
A
old.
lot of really nice shops.
It's got an old feel to it. A lot of independently owned little stores, and you just walk up and down Main Street, going to all the stores, and that's what we did. Went to the comic book shop. I bought a couple comics. I got when I was collecting comics in the 80s and 90s, there was a one of the first big events that crossed over comics was Atlantis Attacks. It was Namor and Atlantis attacked the land, and it was a big crossover event. And I remember being advertised in all the books, but I never actually read the book. So I got the collected edition for that, and then haven't started reading it yet because I've been busy all week. And then we went to dinner up there, a little place called Havana. It's Tex-Mex type of place mostly. And then yeah, that was my birthday. Celebrated it with the family on yesterday, Saturday. That's always fun. It's
I
funny.
did too, Dave. My parents took me to Texas Roadhouse. I don't know if you have those in PA
Yes,
or
yes,
whatever.
yeah.
And it's funny, as I'm eating my food, I hear him talk to the waiter about, oh, birthday. And I was immediately like, no, don't, because they're the type of restaurant where they'll have everybody come out and clap and do like a yeehaw for your
Oh
birthday. And I'm like,
no.
no,
No.
don't do that, Dad, don't. And he didn't. But that was funny.
my
You're right. I kind of had a little celebration
my
too yesterday.
Especially if they have
my
to clap once for every year that you've been on the air. It's like, all right, this is
Yeah.
taking too long.
Yeah.
it's funny because like my girlfriend hates that too, so she won't do it to other people. So she didn't do
Yeah.
it on my birthday. Um, no, it's funny. Like as we get older, because the weird thing is, I always tell people this. Both my brothers' birthdays are on the 26th, so exactly a week after me. They're not twins; they're 7 years apart. But like we were all born around the same time. I don't like to think what was 9 months before that. But anyway, um, but like it's now becoming. And then it's funny. My son-in-law is 2 days before me, the 17th. So we all get together, and it becomes after you do it so many times, it's kind of like clockwork in its way. It's very routine. Like we got a hoagie tray. The hoagie tray showed up. We ate. Then we
Hoagie
exchanged
tray.
gifts, and then we had cake and ice cream, and then everyone basically went home. And I went to the girlfriend's and spent the night. And she made me a. My mom didn't make it. She used to always make me a poppy seed cake on my birthday. She hasn't done it in years, and I asked her this year to do it, and she ended up not doing it. So the girlfriend made it for me. So yeah, there was that. I got half a cake downstairs. If anyone wants
Nice.
some, that was my birthday. But that's not the most interesting thing I wanted to talk about this week.
Oh, we
Obviously,
have a lot of interesting things.
we've been talking a lot about this little show on Disney Plus called The Acolyte.
Oh, we're gonna do this now, are we?
No. This I'm gonna explain something before we get into this. People who follow us on social media know that we create clips. I use an app called Opus Clip. It's an AI tool that'll break it into little clips that format it for social media. We put it up. Any clip where we're talking about the Acolyte has gotten more views than anything else that we've put out in a long time.
Dude, I've been swimming in these waters all week because waiting in a waiting room at the hospital or whatever. It's just and there has been issue after issue after issue happening, all these little things that keep building up to this huge shit show that's happening right now. It's amazing. And everything that Disney has done has only made it worse. Every single thing.
But here's the downside. Like we've got, I mean, I'm not saying we're getting millions of views, but we're getting thousands of views that we haven't gotten before. And the more views you get, the more comments you get.
Oh yeah. Well, it's the internet, so.
And here's what I want to say. If you're watching this right now or watching this after the fact or whatever, and you don't agree with a point that I or John or Don make on this podcast, you're more than welcome to reply with a coherent argument against why we're wrong, or just say, hey, I don't agree with that, whatever. When you try to just levy a personal attack and that's it, like, why? Like, do you really have no life that's what you have to do is go on TikTok or YouTube and say, you guys need to go to the gym, or how come people who defend the Acolyte look like this, or anything like that?
That's the tamest that I've seen so far.
Oh, there's been worse. And here's the thing. I go in and like
some
if
YouTubers
it's really
have
bad,
gotten death threats.
Well, we haven't gotten those yet. I'm sure they're coming. But of course, like I block the person because it's like you obviously don't have anything significant to contribute or intelligent to contribute. So like I don't have time for you. So yeah, just like that's the thing. I was told by someone who also does a podcast, oh, you shouldn't block them. It's like, yeah, no, like again, we've got enough comments on these videos these clips that I don't need to worry about the people that are just insulting. Like that does not bring conversation. All that does is encourage other people to do it.
Well, I mean, disagreement is fine.
Right.
Like that's our God-given right as Americans and whatever to disagree. That's free speech,
America.
but right. Well, hopefully without the the shooters, but yeah, but the thing, some of the things that are being bandied about, like all these YouTubers are getting hit with basically probably what you've seen, and it's there's a lot of comments that are not like cogent, are not helpful at all, and those I don't mind deleting because there's no reason for anybody to be exposed to that kind of vitriol and just evil in some cases.
Right. I mean, and it's funny because like, I say something to the girlfriend about it and she's like, oh, don't worry about that. You're a good person and, you have people that love you. Like, who cares what they say? And it's just like, yeah, but you get enough of those comments. It does hurt. Like, just saying. But yes, I do have a girlfriend out there, people who want to say stuff.
Don't listen to them, Dave. Don't listen to them.
So,
sad, man. Listen, people like that, they got it worse than you. That's really kind of the truth. So I pity them.
Yeah, you're probably right there. And speaking of the internet and comments, let's do a couple of these real quick before we get to the Acolyte. So, I don't remember if you guys remember last week we were talking about the Acolyte, of course, and I had said something along the lines like, "Too bad JD's not here," because he would say, something he always says is, "You don't create art by committee." Like this idea of not making the fans happy is a bad idea, And I get it. Like you do have to find a balance between making the audience happy and doing something different.
Well, I mean, if you're an individual creator, you're creating because you want to create something. That doesn't mean you have to make anybody happy, but yourself. If people like it, they like it. If they don't, go watch something else.
But in reply to that, we got a couple comments over on TikTok. Talking Smack, SMAC said, Star Wars by committee is how we got Rise of Skywalker.
This is true.
Yeah, you know what? I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. Kathleen Kennedy involved with that too.
Right, because like they brought Palpatine back thinking that was going to save that movie. Jaw and Doe said, I stopped watching halfway through Andor because I got bored. I just didn't care about Cassian or anyone.
That's an unusual. Like Andor is widely popular. It's widely considered one of the best Star Wars properties.
And it is, but there are people who do think it was boring. I mean,
oh wait, Don.
Well, if you let it cook, though, I will admit, in watching it in the first time, I almost didn't watch it because I'm not a huge fan of Rogue One. So I really wasn't that interested in the character, but what the hell? I like Star Wars and I got the Disney app in, some time. So once it gets going though, and you start learning kind of how it is a different sort of show and what it is driving at, it got a lot better for me. So I can understand how someone doesn't exactly commit and maybe burns out in the first 3 episodes.
Is that both is this like a side effect of the society that we're currently living in, where everybody wants everything right away? And it's like, if you don't, and I know like this is something that a lot of writers and TV directors are saying now, is if you don't grab somebody in the first 5 minutes, they're gone. But some of the best stuff in geek world, like, oh God, that's One Piece. Hey, you need to let that cook for 37 episodes, and then you are hooked for the next 1,000. Like, but if you don't let things cook, you can't care about the characters because you haven't been given time to give the people a characterization that they can relate to, so that they can, care about what happens in the show, right?
You're bringing up one of the best points about the whole Star Wars thing, is that Star Wars was always movies until, discounting
Disney,
not counting the cartoons, right? Because the Clone Wars was around before the sequel trilogy, but it always been 2-hour movies, right? And so like you've got to have action right away in a movie to grab people in. Like that's just how these things kind of go. Think of the opening scene in A New Hope, right? The ships being captured, stormtroopers and rebel guards fighting laser battles in the hallway, everyone dies, Darth Vader comes out, like it grabs your attention, right? And then boom, we're off.
Oh yeah, one of the greatest opening scenes of cinema, right?
Right, but all the shows aren't that good at doing that. I'm being honest. Like they cook longer, right? You're taking something and making it 8 hours or however long, right? If it's some of these shows are an hour long and you get 8 episodes, it's 8 hours instead of 2 hours. So they have more time to breathe and tell more backstory, and people don't like that. They want it in 2 hours. They want it in a compact form because that's what they're used to with Star Wars.
Oh, now wait a minute. You tell any One Piece fan that they don't like backstory, and dude, like
no, I'm not saying that
almost
about,
one.
We're not talking to One Piece fans. So
oh, well, I know.
Star
but
Wars
the thing
fan.
is, like, I find personally, I find getting backstory like that helps you connect to the characters better. Makes me care about them more when something happens to them in the show. That's the whole point of having series, giving things time to breathe, so you can connect more with the characters.
Sure. But let's say you're, I don't know, somebody like me. You've got 3 kids and a wife. You maybe got an hour today to do something cool. Oh, do I want something slow, or do I want at least an episode, me personally, to give me at least a hook? And if you don't get that, you're an anime person. You are way more nuanced, dedicated, and patient. And that's just you're the exception, not the rule.
I get it. I mean, I get it. Like
okay.
you still want a hook, but I have, even so. Go ahead.
Hassan says Star Wars video games and books would like to enter the chat. I'm not going to disagree with you, Hassan, but the percentage of people who read the books versus have seen the movies, I think you're talking maybe 25% of the Star Wars fans have read the books, and 75 and the rest have all seen all the movies. Like that's what I'm getting at. Like and that's why there's so much blah about all the shows. People didn't like a lot of people didn't like the Obi-Wan show, and I'm still like iffy about it, but it gave us one of the greatest scenes in the last episode. But you had to watch 7 other episodes to get to that fight between Obi-Wan and Darth at the end, right? Like there's a lot of people who aren't willing to do that anymore. I mean, look at what entertainment's become. TikTok and shorts and reels. Like people are endlessly scrolling on their phones, watching these really short clips for entertainment.
And it's not doing our society any good at all. It is destroying our society, I would say. People can't relate to other people anymore. They want instant gratification. It's overloading your brain with what's that drug that we produce when something good happens?
Serotonin.
Right? Serotonin. Yeah. It's like the whole point of serotonin, evolutionary wise, was when you do something good, like you catch something and eat it, you feel good and you want to do that again. It helps with survival of any given species.
Yep.
Now, unfortunately, we've gotten to the point where our intelligence has evolved to the point where we can artificially manipulate that. Food manufacturers have been doing that for decades, but this social media stuff is just destroying us.
And then Onion Core said, I'm tired of these so-called Star Wars fans licking the boots of Disney. Disney is destroying Star Wars, and those that defend it are helping them.
Yep. And you'll watch the next
Uh,
episode. So have a great day. I'm getting that on my videos too. On my last my video for the latest Acolyte episode with my rating, people are saying, "You're not a real fan. You're an activist." If I'm an activist, we're fucked.
Oh my God, yeah.
I maybe leave my house once a week. That's not good.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing too. It's just these weird divides we have in our culture, and it's like not just left and right, but like just these people who create categories and group things, and it's just like a real Star Wars fan wouldn't like this, and it's like, well, no, like if I'm a real Star Wars fan, I'm going to take everything that's produced as canon and watch it, and then decide for myself if it's good or not. Like, just because you have some weird definition of what a Star Wars fan is allowed to like and not like doesn't mean I have to follow that. But it's one of those, if you're not with me, you're against me mentality that we all have.
Okay.
So it's
that's the problem.
Let's save it for the main discussion. We're like, unless you want to just do it, but like I know you've got
all right.
So the main discussion is Superman.
Well, yeah,
right?
but like we have an Acolyte discussion.
All right, okay, all right. And
do we?
I also just over on YouTube, Laura Caitlin 6341 said, "Look, space is massive. There's bound to be lesbian vampires out there. There's far more ridiculous things.
One could only hope.
Star Wars is a franchise that needs to evolve to stay relevant. It's not like you have to accept the movie as you don't have to accept this movie as canonical." Well, I mean,
well, you do.
Yeah, you do, but
you can say that you don't like it.
But like,
okay,
you just
okay, fine. They are messing with canon with this though. Chiari Mundi.
They're not. We'll get into that. I got smoke for that for days. So unless we're getting
I'm interested to hear it.
All right, and then we'll skip over the other thing, and then just real quick, we talked about the Lord of the Rings. Don brought up how how ridiculous the premise of the Fellowship of the Rings is, or the Lord of the Rings in total.
It is,
the most powerful people in this realm sent kids out to destroy the ring, and then of course you said, John, the best, most obvious thing, that Samwise Gamgee was the real hero of the series. So we had some people comment on this over on YouTube. John Rob 8528 said, "There is only one and correct answer. Not only did he pick everyone up and be the glue of the Fellowship, but he was the only creature in Middle Earth to have once possessed the ring and gave it up on his own free will. True legend."
Yeah.
Spiral Bone said, "Never forget that when they finally got there, it was time to throw the ring in. Frodo said no. Also, never forget that Elrond let Isildur walk right past him when he chose to take the ring instead of killing him and throwing him into the fire himself." Yeah, that's true. And then finally, that was the point of the book. No one except the hobbits. No one except the hobbits.
No, yeah, no one. Like the Spanish Inquisition, nobody expects the hobbits.
I knew you. I almost did it, but I knew you were going to come with it.
So yeah, there's more. There was more stuff. There was a lot of stuff to speak on. I kind of was going to just pick and choose some comments and whatnot, but I'm sure there'll be a lot more because we're going to get into the Acolyte in a second. But what does Kassan say here, real quick? They didn't send kids; they sent the purest of people who could resist the call of the ring. Yes,
that's true.
But I think the idea is that they were also not experienced, right? Like they were kids in the sense of they never left the Shire. Like they didn't know what the world was like.
Well,
you know?
the point he's making is that the hobbits were a species that could carry the ring for longer periods of time.
Yeah.
The only problem is, okay, the hobbits are smaller. That means you could fit more of them on an eagle and send it over the mountain. Like, you could have had them like, at what, 2-3 hours on an eagle. They could pass it amongst each other within that time. Nobody ever has to. Like,
just put it in a little bag, little sack.
All right. I wanted to get that out of the way so that we could take a moment and talk about episode 4 of the Acolyte.
Just a moment.
Just a moment.
Okay. Can I just, so, and Don, we'll talk about this. I just want to everything. I want to list all the things that I've seen happen in this community so far. Okay.
Wait, are we talking about in the show or people online?
Well, both really. It's all related at this point.
Okay.
So first off, I want to say it's really weird, but a lot of the reviewers that I have on my list, a lot of them are anywhere from a lot of them are slightly misogynistic to fairly misogynistic. I'm finding out. But here's the thing. So one of the main reviewers, the Critical Drinker, right? I find him to be slightly misogynistic, but his reviews are very smart. He's very funny. And specifically the reviews for the Acolyte have been very factual, right? So, how do I want to say this? So after Kiani Mundi, his entry on Wikipedia was changed to make him, who is the Cerulean species. They only live 60 to 70 years, and he's now 110 because they changed his birth date on Wikipedia.
Let me know when
after
I can
that
stop
episode.
you, please.
I will go back to that. There were death threats made to the guy who manages Wikipedia. And then he blamed it on the Critical Drinker, a few of his fellows, and Star Wars Theory guy, who none of them ever said. In fact, specifically, Star Wars Theory guy has always been like, look, we can have differences of opinion. Don't do anything stupid. So all of that happens, and then the actress Amandla, right? The head actress who plays May and Osha. She comes out with a diss track against anybody who doesn't like this series. So literally wading into this is like looking around at a landscape that is all on fire with people screaming everywhere. It's like the Star Wars, Disney is attacking the fans. They're also attacking the YouTubers. The YouTubers are fighting back saying, we didn't say anything about death threats. Meanwhile, everybody's wondering why Wikipedia is going along with this. Because they think they might be either paid or something by Disney now. Like, the whole thing is just absolutely ridiculous.
All right, hold on a second. Kassan says the misogynist argument is moot when you consider most of these people love Arcane, and the Critical Drinker loves Arcane.
Well, yeah, no, but he comes from, like, the Critical Drinker specifically does come from a point of view where he's usually very, very, very tough on. He's very, very tough on shows that have a female protagonist. He's much more tough on those than he is. But again, he is fair.
I don't know how you can love Princess Leia and Amidala and then say people are misogynistic. I mean, I don't know. I'm not watching any of those reviews.
Ahsoka, or any of the other number of women, or any of the number of women that are in Star Wars,
right?
And then you like those, and then you're misogynistic because you don't like this one. I haven't,
because I watch mainly Screen Crush and New Rock Stars, and they try to be very.
Oh yeah,
they
no,
try not to be
they
too opinionated on these kinds of things. They kind of just
they are definitely afraid of not getting interviews with some of the bigger
yeah,
places. So they will always take middle of the road. Like
right.
their reviews are kind of really soft pedaled, to say the least.
Right. So yeah, like I haven't seen any of the I haven't, and that's the thing too. Like when I see a video on YouTube where it's like this title is something like female witches are ruining Star Wars, or lesbians are ruining everything, or whatever, it's like I don't even bother watching it, because it's like
I know,
you're
but
what they're doing. But here's the thing, because like I honestly believe this is a big part of it, and people won't admit to it. They know that controversy is going to get them clicks, and that's why they take that stance and come off like, screw
true.
women, they're ruining everything, Kathleen Kennedy hates men, blah blah blah,
And
because
I've started blocking a lot of those reviewers, but a lot of this is a forced error by Disney themselves when they have promotional pictures of the cast with all shirts that say the Force is female, and they've got interviews where it's all about how gay this Star Wars is. Like they're pushing, like I don't know if they did that because they thought the negative publicity would be worth it, or if this is just a Kathleen Kennedy, was it Leslie Headland shit show? I don't, but it's a forced error. Like they're like handing ammunition to these people.
well, yeah. Kazan's got a good point here. As a point, most of these people like the Clone Wars series, but hated Ahsoka. I think it's clear it boils down to great storytelling, and I don't disagree with you. And I think Don and I both kind of agree. Like, the Acolyte isn't the best Star Wars, but it's not the worst thing we've ever seen. So, like, we just want to watch it. But I think what happens is, because there are people who don't like it, again, these people online know they're going to get clicks and views and everything by coming on and really attacking the show,
but
really trying to.
But not all of them. Like I agree that that contingent is rather large now compared to what you would normally get on any regular show, right?
Mm-hmm.
I admit that that's having an effect, but all the reviewers that I look at are panning it, all of them. So like,
because panning it, because hey, this show has been attacked in the comments anytime we defend it. Anytime Don and I try to say something nice about it, we get attacked in the comments, and that's the whole thing. Like, so
wait a minute, I don't get attacked. These people, am I not worth being attacked?
Oh, you get attacked. Trust me, you get attacked just based on your looks. But
well, that's I mean, who could love
but
this?
seriously, because it's funny, because there was a clip, like there was one of the clips that generated where like it kind of looks like you're defending something about the Acolyte, but you're not. I don't remember which clip it was, and like the people were attacking you too, and it's just like, again, like these people watch this and they go, oh, you know what? If I come out and say this sucks, because they look at what videos are popular, they look at the videos saying this sucks are popular, and they know to copy the formula, and that's all people are doing. They're not. And I feel like, and that's the thing, you're not getting, not all of them, but a lot of them. And I feel like you don't get honest reviews because people know they're going to get more views by saying this sucks straight out, because lesbians and gay Star Wars is horrible, and they know they're going to get the clicks for that, as opposed to sitting there going, hey, you know what? Let me look at this honestly. Okay, this part of the show was good. This part was bad. Like, no one's doing that.
I know.
No one has done that yet.
No. A lot of people, the drinker doesn't like many of it, but a lot of his cohorts, a lot of the other reviewers, they are saying that there are some parts good, some parts bad, whatever. Like, but by and large, they don't like it. Now, the same contingent had an effect on the Marvels too, right? But And if it weren't,
No, they
for
didn't. That's the whole illusion here, man. And I just don't want us to buy into it.
I'm not. I'm
Jesus
saying
Christ,
it's like
don't expect it.
I'm shaving percentages, not like it's the reason why it failed, but it would it had like a slight gravitational pull. But in this case, the the sheer amount of coverage on this is so much, and with Disney attacking anybody who doesn't like it by calling them misogynist is really just throwing, uranium onto the fire.
Disney's doing that.
I feel like
Disney's been attacking anybody who said they're even on their Twitter. They've been calling people. They've been saying, we shouldn't be misogynist about this at all.
I don't feel like
Amandla is not helping.
I agree.
I feel like I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Captain Marvel failed mainly because they brought two characters into a movie that were interested in TV shows no one watched, or not everyone watched, and a lot of people didn't like the first movie, even though it was successful. They weren't 100% happy with the character of Carol Danvers, and she didn't do much in it. And she didn't do much in the other movies, right? So you didn't have an idea. The Marvels is a much better sequel to Captain Marvel than people realize. Like, it's a much better movie.
Yeah.
And what I'm just getting at is Captain Marvel was not attacked as much as this show.
No, not even close. Not even close.
Right.
And the other part of the other problem with the Marvels was like the shows and everything like that. It was so many errors on Marvel's part by that point that people. All right. Now, Don, I haven't given Don any time. Don, the thing about Ki-Adi-Mundi, okay? So here's the setup. On Wikipedia, and it's been on there for decades because nobody cared. Nobody even knew who Ki-Adi-Mundi was. He had a really weird figurine for Star Wars figurine. His species lives to like 60 or 70 years old. He was supposedly 70 when he showed up on episode 1. Their species is like trying to repopulate itself, so he's one of the few one of the few Jedi who are allowed to have families because they're trying to repopulate their species. I forget why.
8 wives.
Right. So he was supposedly born in 79
bitch.
BBY. 79 before the Battle of Yavin, BBY. Now,
according to what though, John? I don't want you to get lost into this. According to what?
It was according to George Lucas and like the official canon, which is usually recorded in Wikipedia.
Pre-Disney?
What?
Pre-Disney?
Yeah.
Okay, so it don't matter.
Okay,
Wikipedia is open source and anyone can add to it. Well, it's not a viable source.
Well,
I mean, I know people use it and quote it all the time, and that's maybe got lost in our society because it's been around for so long. But Wikipedia is actually not a great source because anyone can add to it. And I say all that to say this. Ki-Adi-Mundi in the Silurian Life Age has not been established since New Canon. And I have the Old Canon Bible here.
Mm-hmm.
And it even states that Silurian lifespans are similar to humans, but not exactly the same. So we do not have an established lifespan of Silurian race in canon.
But they just to set his birthday from 79 to 132.
But who set that? Who set that birth date?
The best I've seen, John, is the back of a Star Wars card from before the Disney acquisition, which again is no longer canon.
Right, but you're just like at that point he should have been a skeleton in the episode 1, right?
No, not according to any canon source.
That's the whole thing. We don't have an actual source for that. That was just something that was on Wikipedia. Like, we don't know what the source of that was.
Even on Wikipedia, it says this article details a subject that is considered canon, and then they changed it.
Just because you can write that on Wikipedia makes it canon?
Wikipedia is managed just as hard as Wikipedia is. They have managers of those pages. They don't just let anybody change things, especially on stuff that has been locked down because it's been canon, including in the extended universe for like a decade or more.
But it
Like,
doesn't matter. And also to answer Kassan's point, when Disney acquired Star Wars, they literally gave you a list of shit that was still canon. And yes, 4, 5, and 6 was still on that list.
well, I know, but it changes literally everything. First off, he's broken the mold.
Boba Fett
Like,
died in the Sarlacc pit before the Disney acquisition. He's
Yeah.
alive and well now with his own show.
you can explain that the way they did. That's okay. I mean, they made him a badass. His armor protected him.
So
He
Disney
got out.
holds
This is
Disney holds a
somebody who
press
shouldn't be
conference.
alive.
Disney holds a press conference. Says, "Hey, Ceruleans should be able to live to 150," and then we're all done with this argument. Is that literally all that we are waiting on?
Well, no, but
Because
that
every site that is anyone is sourced is non-canon.
the underlying problem of that is that if all these facts and stuff that you're relying on for the story to have any weight are all now fluid or can be thrown out the door any day, then what are the stakes? How do you write a story when there are no rules? Because that's the problem. If there are no rules for your story, then there's nothing for the reader
Here's the
to
thing.
count on, and they can't get invested
No,
because there aren't any
here's-
rules.
Here's the thing. The rules are, and this is what Disney has stated, anything that was in the main movies before they bought it is canon. There is nothing in that movie that says how long Keanu Moody was alive or when he was born or
Okay,
anything. There's
why would
nothing
they
that is
Why would they even decide to bring it in? Why would they invite this kind of argument? Why would they decide?
Because one
to
of
bring
my
this
complaints
specifically?
are that the creators of this show are antagonistic. I agree with you
Oh,
there.
they are,
knew
yes.
before the show even came out, everyone was citing Keanu Moody's
there's-
line, "Oh, the Sith," but so I'll give you that. But technically, they're not wrong because the shit has not been established in canon yet.
He's got
and
a
right.
red lightsaber. Only
What?
Sith.
Wait, whoa, what? Oh, okay. So that's where you got to stop, sir. Because no, not only Sith are not the only people in the galaxy that use red lightsabers in dark side magic. Let me introduce you. If Asajj Ventress, you already know about the Inquisitors.
Night
Yes, you know
Sisters.
about them.
Yeah.
The Night Sisters don't use lightsabers.
Well,
So
yeah,
anyway,
I mean, they're
I
all
only
true.
said to say this: the Sith are not the only sect of dark force users that use red lightsabers that exist. The Sith is a very specific order, and just because you wield a red lightsaber in dark side magic does not make you one of them.
Well,
See,
I mean,
that's why you cannot base your arguments for why a show is bad on such flimsy shit. At least not with me.
Well, first of all, I don't feel like it's.
I know
It's
you're
that-
not. I'm sorry.
I mean,
I'm
if you want to sit
attacking
there
you,
and
but
say,
proxy.
I
if
get
you
it.
want to sit there
I
and say,
get it. I get it. yeah.
what he said in this episode was stupid and it doesn't make any sense, I'll go with that. But to sit there and say you have to discard the whole thing because we used to believe they only lived 70 years. Now all of a sudden he lived for 110 years. Like we don't like.
But that's. I mean, the reason why we're talking about that is because I wanted Don's opinion because he's an expert. And I understand what you're saying, Don, and that's fine with me. Personally, I can't care about this enough. I don't care about this enough to really argue that point. But I think that the thing about the reviewers is that they are pointing out all the other flaws in the storyline. Like,
What are they?
The fire on the ship, rock catching fire, people doing things for absolutely no reason. Why did the Jedi suddenly show up at their planet? We've
already had fire on ships in the movies.
I know.
Like
I know.
The burning rock is a question, but I do think that's still yet to be explained.
Or what's his name? The Torben, right? Okay, so she breaks into his little church there, attacks him
through the hole because no one protects holes in Star Wars.
Yeah, I know, right? Like Death Stars or a Jedi outpost, right?
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
But big flaw there. But she goes to attack him. Of course, she can't get through the shield, so she goes back to the guy to get something to kill him with. What does she get? She gets a poison. Not a poison that creates a cloud of poison that he'd have to breathe in or anything that could get through a shield. No, a poison he'd have to drink. Why? She couldn't get through the force field. How's she gonna get it? How's she gonna make him drink it? And
By
then
talking to him, which is what she did.
And then he just decides, oh yeah, you're right. I feel guilty about whatever. I'll just drink it. Why didn't he let her kill him when she was right there before then?
Because she said the words, "Hey, you drink this and I'll forgive you," and that's exactly what he wanted. So, oh, cool. Ever see Game of Thrones where Jamie Lannister? Huh?
How did she know that was going to work though?
She didn't know it was going to work
from her home
planet.
planet. But yeah.
What? No, I mean not the poison. We know the poison works. Why did she get a poison that you had to make the guy drink when she knows she can't get to him?
I can make up a reason, but who knows? But
does every plan you ever have in your life always succeed? Like,
can usually give it a little bit more thought than I need something to kill him. Get poison. Okay, bring it here. Oh, he has to drink the poison. It's a classic foible. I mean, there's so many things like, and then there's other really bad forced errors. Like, you have a Wookiee Jedi. We get to see a Wookiee Jedi fight. Oh, he's dead. Like, I want to see a Wookiee Jedi fight. That would be fucking awesome. You know what? They had the fight. They said they couldn't afford it. Every one of these episodes is 2 Godzilla -1s, and they didn't have enough money somehow.
They really should have kept their mouth shut about that. That is a complaint I have. Like, you should not have been like, oh, we had it. We just can't afford it.
I agree that is a huge missed opportunity. That like not showing that fight was stupid. I agree.
The first season of House of Dragon, I think the estimate cost $180,000 or $180 million. This whole season is $200 million. Most of the episodes are half the length of the hour episodes of House of Dragon, and you can see the difference in like the sets and the CGI and all that. Where's the money going?
It's not the flaws of canon, it's the flaws of exposing their antagonist blunt self-serving messaging in the guise of Star Wars. Strong words, Kassan.
See, and here's my biggest problem. This makes everybody because of Disney's the position that Disney has taken. It makes anybody who brings up these issues, and again, this is all forced errors, right? Like, they didn't have to have a very specific discussion about pronouns during this, right? They didn't have to have.
Wait a minute. Did you say they had a specific discussion about pronouns? He referred to a space squirrel as he, no, they, them, and that's it.
Yeah, I know.
People are blowing that up.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Admit that, John, that people are blowing up dumb shit with this.
And
if you don't like it, that's fine.
No. Just wait. It's, again, this is in absentia of everything else. That wouldn't matter. It'd be like, oh, okay, who cares? But there's just this cavalcade of Disney making out everybody to be calling people misogynists when the cast calling people misogynists when they mention this stuff, and any reviewer who brings up any of that stuff, it makes me feel wrong bringing that stuff up, and yet they're the ones that are pushing it, and we're like okay, I can't say anything about it, or I can, or what? And this is coming from me, who doesn't give a shit normally.
So
I'm going to shut up now because I
have a question about the actual episode. I kind of want to let's try to actually talk about the episode just a little bit.
In the meat and potatoes.
The Jedi fight. That's my biggest problem.
The end of the episode, the Master shows up, right? And he's got that cool helmet.
And he can suddenly push, what was it, 8 Jedi all at once? What?
Almost like he specializes in force pushing. We haven't seen that in this show yet, have we? Oh, wait.
You sure it's not thread pushing?
So quick question. Is it super obvious? Who do we think the master is?
I think it's the goat, the guy who smells the gopher guy. I think it's two of them in a trench coat. Sorry, one of the reviewers I watched said, I will forgive everything if when they do the reveal, it's two of them in a trench coat. Everything's forgiven. I will give this a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Queer Mirror? Are you talking about
Yeah.
cheap Ezra Miller?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, the Wish Ezra Miller, yeah.
What's his name? Quimar is the character's name?
Yeah, it's Qimir, Kirmir, some shit. Yeah.
Yeah, Quimir. Yeah, I kind of think he's the master, pretending like because that's what Darth Sidious did in the prequel trilogy. Like he was the senator, the on one side, and then Darth Sidious on the other. Like I kind of feel like that's where we're going.
Okay,
It'll be OSHA.
That would also be
your
kind
mother
of
moment.
That would be kind of awesome too. But
yeah, so Mother Coral is actually my pick. I agree with Kassan here. The other mother, yeah, Coral. Because the fact that she did do the Force push, I'm like, okay, she was really not trying to work with the Jedi. And I even think not to be misogynist, but I even think the figure of the person is a little bit feminine. And again, I maintain that she is possibly not a Sith, but some sort of acolyte of Abeloth, and it makes sense that she would be a woman.
Now, some people are saying it's Vernestra. What do you think of that?
That would be great because I hate her.
Well, do you hate her because of the character from the extended universe, or do you hate her because the actress is obviously nepotism is alive and well?
I don't know the actress. I don't know anything about that. I hate her because she is the ones that keep saying, "Oh, got to keep this under wrap. We don't want the Senate to find out." And so she is showing the corruption of the Jedi losing their way here. She's very, very sus to me.
It was interesting because someone pointed this out on the internets this week. I think it was New York Rockstars, which I didn't realize this before. The term acolyte is used in Star Wars canon. It's so there's the rule of two with the Sith. There's the master and the apprentice, but anyone other than that who's within their circle. So if the apprentice can have an apprentice, they're considered an acolyte. So if May is the acolyte, her master is actually the apprentice of whoever really is behind all of this. And there's so many people that are like, it's Pelagus, and this is Pelagus's apprentice, and then she's the acolyte. So
you mean Darth? Was it they're calling him Darth Smiley or something?
Well, that's the person in the show, but
right.
She's not a Darth. I think though Darth Smiley is the actual acolyte. But yeah, that's the thing I think no one is talking about with this show, and they're showing it a little bit with the Ki-Adi-Mundi discussion. Like Ki-Adi-Mundi is showing in this show that he's a part of the group that's covering shit up. So wouldn't it be possible that in Phantom Menace he was kind of trying to be like cover his ass, like, oh, Sith? Oh, there's no Sith around here. Like
Smiley Ren. They call her Smiley Ren.
Yes, or Smilo Ren is the one I've saw.
Smilo Ren. Oh my god.
Smilo Ren.
Terrible. All right. Anyway.
That's an interesting point, and that is yet to pan out, Don. Again, like we're 4 episodes out of 8. So to quote one great American TV icon, they got some splaining to do, Lucy.
I feel like the next episode is going to be now a flashback again to the night that the rock was set on fire, told from OSHA's point of view.
That'd be some anime logic there, because you
Yeah,
always in
and
anime you always stop a fight just before it starts for a flashback.
exactly. I kind of feel like that's exactly what's going to happen. I
Yes,
feel
they're
like
gonna
that's how this
fight.
show
No,
is
another
going.
flashback. Everything's in black and white. He had a horrible backstory. Oh no.
Mhm.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah,
Uh,
I mean, yeah, it's just it's all a bunch of forced.
this is
Like, I like
well,
it.
that's
Don thinks it's okay. That's fine with me. But this whole flame war is just a bunch of forced errors on
here,
mostly Disney's side. You know.
but here's the thing, and I'm going to say this is a criticism I have of the show at this point is, and it goes. I feel like I'm agreeing with all the assholes out there, but about the show being dragged out and boring is we got a flashback episode and then we get this episode and nothing really fucking happens in the episode. It's them going through a forest. All the action we get is them killing one of those flying things with a lightsaber and Soul killing one of those things.
Oh, that's
And
right.
then
And then they
and
just
then we
continue
find a
on.
dead Wookiee, and then the Dark Lord shows up. They all draw their lightsabers, which goes against everything else they've said is so far in this series about not drawing first and not attacking first.
What happened to all the giant bugs too?
They all draw their lightsabers and go to attack, which was the fatal mistake. The Sith force pushes them, and then that's it. That's the whole episode, and it's just like, what was the point of this? And now I'm telling you, they're going to do another flashback from Osha's point of view in the next episode, and then it'll all get like wrapped up in the last 3 episodes, and it's just like,
oh, what's the deal with May taking 10 years of getting Rey to have her revenge? And it's like, oh, my sister's alive? Yep. Peace out. I'm gone. It's like none of that matters. Like, if she wasn't invested in what she felt and what she wanted to do, like,
oh, am I saying it backwards? Yeah, May's the evil one and Osha's the good one, right?
Yeah, May,
so it'll be May's
like,
point of view in the next episode.
But May just gave up at the first sign of her sister. Like,
right, she gave up killing her sister's killer once she learned that the sister's killer didn't kill her.
Well, yeah, but after 10 years of being indoctrinated, you don't just give up like that. Like,
oh wait, you're alive? Oh, well, I'm still gonna kill those fuckers. I don't know why, because you're alive. Well,
those fuckers also killed her parents and everybody that they knew.
I also I agree.
Supposedly, maybe, who knows?
That's
right.
That's one of the things.
True.
Here's the thing, like, and it's also why everyone's saying that what's his face is the apprentice, Quimar or whatever his name is because the only one she told that she's going to give herself up was him. And then all of a sudden the Dark Lord shows up and massacres everyone. Well, it doesn't matter. Force pushes everyone. But like, exactly, like 10 years or whatever of training specifically to get revenge on these 4 Jedi. And when she's at the moment where she's going to get get 3 of them done, it's like, nah, you know what? I'm good. My sister's alive. It changes everything. You're right. Like, I agree. That doesn't work. And it would have worked so much better if she just didn't say anything and just was like, you stay here. I'm going to go. I have to face him alone. You stay here. Right. And then just went off and then surrendered to him. Like, and it would have gone differently. That's why they had to write it that way, but it doesn't work.
Yeah. And one other thing I want to address while we're on here. Oh, yeah, that's the thing.
What about,
like,
okay, Kassan asked, what about, what about her mother's killers, Don? She doesn't deserve justice? To May's mind, the Jedi killed her. Come on, Don.
Okay. Sorry, yeah, May's the one that. Yeah, May's the one that started the fire. I mean, we just don't know those details, so we'll see. I could be proven wrong, and
that's the whole thing. She started the fire, but like, what made it go out of control?
She was going to kill her sister. But the Jedi going to kill you. I'm going to kill all of you because I was going to kill her first, but then you did.
Right. She's the one who told Osha, "I'll kill you if you try to leave." Speaking of which,
Yeah, wait, no, you know what? Fuck. You just made an excellent point there, John.
Oops.
Last week in the
Did I
flashback
accidentally
episode, May was ready to kill her own sister because she wanted to leave. And then she spends 10 years training to kill these Jedi. And as soon as she finds out the person she wanted to kill is still alive, she decides to give herself up. Yes, that is bad writing.
So, okay. Before we declare bad writing, time will tell. That's my only statement. But listen, does anybody remember the fact that the other mother, the non-Zabrak one, the main witch, fucking mind controlled a Jedi Padawan?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was pretty dark.
I just want everybody to keep that on their chalkboard. That's all.
Yep. It's a good point.
Have a chalkboard?
That is a good point.
I'm gonna get a chalkboard to keep behind me.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to make sure that we mention is Amandla made a diss track against anybody who says they don't like this for whatever reason. It doesn't matter what reason. That they're misogynist. She made a diss track. I want to make sure that you understand that Amandla Stenberg is the daughter of I think a billionaire, a Danish billionaire. So she's never been repressed. She got was it Leslie? Hold on. Leslie Headland wrote this part for her. She's been handed this star vehicle, even though she's never really been like in anything really big. So
here's what I'm going to say about,
and yet she says
child.
She wants to make white people cry or something.
Here's what I'm going to say about this child, right? Like,
and she is a child. Well, compared to us, she is a baby. But
right. And I'm being completely serious with this comment. Obviously, she lived a life of privilege. She doesn't know real struggle.
No,
right?
She doesn't. Yeah.
And like, she believes everything that she's been taught on the internet growing up. Let's be honest. And Disney has a morality. Disney has a morality. That's a baby to me. That's younger than my daughter. I mean, come on. Disney has a morality clause in all of their contracts. Disney controls everything these people say and do when they go out in public and go on the internet.
But
and
they didn't stop her from doing the diss track.
When they go against Disney, it's when that's when they get rid of them, and it's happened in the past. So here's my point. You're right, John. Disney approved this diss track. Disney okayed it. So, yes, Disney is their own worst enemy when it comes to this series right now.
Yeah. It's like all the things that we could have accepted, right? Like thinking, okay, this will be explained later. Like Don's saying, right? These things could be explained later. They could have a lot of information. They could, give us a flashback in episode 7 that explains a lot of what we're having a problem with the writing right now. But nobody's getting a chance to do that because Disney's continually lobbing hand grenades into the fandom.
And I think that is also what is fueling a lot of these, I'm going to call them trolls online. Like, because Disney's doing this, it gives them fuel to come back and say, oh, this sucks. But I also have to wonder if this is part of their plan, because Disney can turn around and say, look, it's the most talked about series online.
Yeah. With again, Rotten Tomatoes, the Star Wars holiday special is at 21%. This is at 14%. So it is the lowest rated Disney show of all time.
Kassan says, you guys are slipping into the dark side. You originally railed against. I think the point is settled.
Are you telling us to change the channel, Kassan?
Well, I think he's got a good point, though, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not sitting here to say this is a masterpiece in writing. I'm not. I never will.
I'm going to keep watching it.
I'm just going to vigorously defend the people that are, oh, it's dead. Canon's broken. Like that. That's the stuff that I'm going to kind of give smoke on. And all the complaints that I've seen about this episode is about Ki-Adi-Mundi. They've broken canon because they went against what Ki-Adi-Mundi said. And my point simply, and even with the age thing, that has actually not been established in canon yet. And as far as him saying the Sith they've been gone for millennia, well, A, we've already seen that he's kind of tried to cover this shit up, and
Yeah.
B, he hasn't seen anything yet, so we don't know that everybody's going to survive. And C, not everyone that wields a red lightsaber in the Force is a Sith.
But if
That's-
they kill,
I
if they
wait.
kill everybody to keep this secret, though, that makes
No.
Mundi
Hold on.
a really bad character in episode 1.
Here's the
He
thing.
is a really bad character.
He is a
He's
really
big
bad
asset.
character. And here's the thing, and I'm going to say this, like, they established it already in the show, where it's like, oh, should we tell the council about this? And
No,
he's
yeah,
like,
we no, we don't tell them.
no, that'll just create panic. You know, like, they've already shown they're willing to cover this up. Like, that's already been established in the show. We know that there's going to be a big cover up by the time the show's over. That, you know, I'm just waiting for when Yoda shows up, because
He ain't going to show up in this. They ain't going to give him. They're not going.
why not? They've had Yoda in the animated shows. Not there's a couple episodes where he's not voiced by Frank Oz. There is somebody that within their ranks that can do a good Frank Oz impression. Why not have Yoda come in at the end? Because here's the thing: I've always said this in the Phantom Menace, when Keanu Mundi gives the line of, "There, we haven't seen the Sith in a millennia." Yoda gives a knowing look to Mace Windu, like, uh-oh, right? Like, and I've always wondered about that. What is up with that look that Yoda gives to Mace Windu in that scene? Like he knew.
Well, that was the foreboding of, oh wow, they haven't been in 1,000 years, and now we've seen one. This is not going to end well. It wasn't some secret meaning that was never
that look
voiced
like,
during the movie.
I really feel like that look was like, oops, like it really comes off that way. Watch it again. I'm serious. Watch the Phantom Menace again. Just watch that scene at the council when they're when they're talking about the Sith.
But
the look on Yoda's face is like,
if you're trying to reassign a look that was given in a movie that was made over a decade ago to fix the whatever is going on now, that's really a stretch, dude.
Maybe that was a plant, but maybe that was something.
It wasn't a plant. They didn't put a Chekhov's gun in that movie for this.
No, not
There's
a plant.
no freaking way.
Maybe Lucas did that on purpose to leave it open.
George Lucas never met a plot point that he didn't solve within a couple of minutes. There's no way.
Watch the original trilogy again. All right, I'm kidding. All right, you know what? I'm gonna keep watching it. Let's put a pin in the Acolyte conversation for this week, because we're an hour and 12 minutes in this podcast.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
you haven't even seen my recorded show.
I was about to say, but if you want to bitch at us about this on social media, respectfully, yes, here's our good friend Don to tell you some more.
You enjoying the show? Do you want to be part of social media madness? Easy peasy. Head on over to superheroespeak.com. You'll find all the links to our social media. You'll find the show uploaded there as well. Comic reviews by Chris. You can even go in the archives and find old comic reviews by yours truly. Absolutely. So again, that's superheroespeak.com. Make sure and check that out. Make sure to engage on our social media. Speaking of social media, Superhero Speak is part of the Geek World All-Star Podcast Network. That podcast network includes great shows like the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Colt 45, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, the So Wizard Podcast, and Superhero Speak. That's right. You go to the X-Men app, I mean the X app, hashtag GW All-Stars, and you will not be disappointed, and you might as well do it before that app is dead. Well, listen, now it's time to go back to the show, and I'm going to be looking to see if JD makes a comment about sex or doing something to a woman's anatomy to see if John gets flustered or beat red, while at the same time speaking with confidence and zeal when he's talking about Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash, and the rest of the My Little Pony crew. Back to the show.
Pinkie Pie is awesome. Nobody can convince me otherwise.
Kassan said, Don joins the light in his commercial, but resides in the dark during the podcast.
Nice.
He's a secret Sith.
Gotta correct you. I'm a Revanite. Both Sith and Jedi.
If you're
They're the
watching, you've
coolest
gotten
ones.
this far in the podcast, and you're not a subscriber yet, click that subscribe button. Click that bell for notifications, so you don't miss us when we go live on Sunday nights. Don't miss any of our other great content we put out during the week. Please smash that like button if you like what we're doing here. It really helps with the algorithm. And yeah, it'll get the show out there. Also, looking down in the links below, you'll see some of our merchandise available. We've got our very punny shirt back up on the store. So we got 3 designs for you right now. There's more coming, but that's John's favorite design. So you should wear one of those and honor
I really did like
John's,
that design. Yeah.
John's love of our pun titles that we haven't done in a long time. All right, Don, while we're here, come on, tell the people where they can find the Omega Level Nerds podcast.
Well, you can go to YouTube, search Omega Level Nerds. Bam, you'll see me right there. Nice blue logo. Last video, actually, for me, pretty big, 204 views, but, that's because people like to shit on me for defending the Acolyte. So join them, please. Go right ahead.
And shit on Don.
Shit on me.
Don't
right?
do that.
Show me your best lore police badge. Lore police. So yeah, check it out. Omega Level Nerds on YouTube.
Awesome. All right, let's take a really quick commercial break, and we'll be back with a little bit of news.
Some podcasts are like this.
What's the animal in this world that you fear the least? Fish. Animal. Fish. Don't start. Don't. You're starting, and I'm not.
A fish is an animal.
No, it's not. I'm talking about an animal, like a real animal, like
Fish. Fish.
No,
Fish
you're
is
being
animal.
hard-headed. I'm talking about that's like saying like an ant. That's not an animal. That's a sea creature.
What? It's a sea creature. A fish is an animal.
You can't go to the zoo and see a fish. They don't have zoo fishes.
There's actually so many fishes.
There's fish zoos. You can go to a fish zoo.
No,
Oh.
there's so many fish that they have their own attraction called an aquarium.
No, they don't. No, that's different. That's like sharks and shit. Those are animals.
Fish!
No.
Fish!
No, that's why they have different names. Sharks and fish. Why are you being political? I'm talking about an animal like a monkey, zebra, tiger, bear.
Okay.
And some podcasts are like this.
What's your take?
Since the fucking pandemic, everyone and their mother went on Amazon, got a microphone, got the whole kit set up, little filter, and now it's like they're important and we want to hear what they have to say about food, sports, culture. Who gives a
You don't like podcasts?
No, I think it's people fucking jerking themselves off on the air to pretend they're doing something with their life.
If you already have a podcast, you can keep doing it, but it should be illegal to start a new podcast.
Get if you like doing like social justice or covering like current events, but just to talk about stupid sports, food, this and that is garbage, bro.
Wait, do you have a podcast?
Fuck out of here, bro.
You're on a podcast right now.
I'm happy to participate in this one and let you know how I feel about all these jamooks out here running around thinking there's somebody important, like we want to listen to what they have to say.
What's a jamook?
Jamook, lame-brained. You know a jamook? A person of mental or physical incompetence due to their own lack of grace or social aptitude.
I like this definition. Jamook. Idiot, loser, lame-brained, a jamook.
Yeah.
But only one podcast is where you can get in-depth analysis like this.
They're breaking down the U.S. Phillips and the top brass are talking about what the fuck happened. And Phillips is like, look, bro, I wanted an army of you assholes, not just you. Go fuck out of here. I don't care. But the Senator Brandt, I was like, hold on, fam. I see opportunity.
Hey, we got a guy here. It's a super soldier.
I see a big, greasy, sweaty, swole, sexy man right here. We're going to slap you on some labels, bitch. About to walk this track for America.
Yeah. Shake your ass on the curb for America.
Bounce that ass for the U.S. of A.
Bounce that ass for the U.S.
I want dancing girls.
Dancing girls. And America's ass.
You are now listening
to Cult 45.
This is Beat 'em Down.
And I'm Random Randy Savage.
Find us on all your podcatching apps like Podbean or Spotify, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or just go to www.cult45podcast.com.
Also, check out our YouTube for that sweet, sweet video content.
Cult 45, the only podcast that puts hair on your chest.
All right. Okay, hold on. This is breaking because I just looked on Facebook during the commercial break. So for those who don't know, Hoagie Fest is something that Wawa, who's a local convenience store here on the East Coast, is having their Hoagie Fest this month. And Jason Kelsey, NFL football player, is involved with the advertising for it. And apparently he put mayo on a hoagie and people are giving him shit for it.
Oh, God.
Come on, people. You're allowed to put mayo on a hoagie. As a Philadelphian, I approve this message.
Dude, that's like eating pizza with a fork. It's like that's giving the middle finger to
You're from
God
Connecticut.
himself.
You're not allowed to have a comment. A turkey hoagie with a little bit of mayo? That's good. Come on.
Heathen.
I've never heard of that before in my life. I put mayo on mini sandwiches.
There you go. Thank you, Don. You're my hero.
Did you guys have like a presidential candidate come through there like a decade and want to put like ketchup on a Philly cheesesteak or some shit? Am I remembering that right? Now that's an abomination.
It was probably Mitt Romney.
You can put ketchup on a cheesesteak. It's not good, but you can do it. Kassan says the second podcast is actually entertaining, which is he met in the ad. Where they're talking about Jamooks on the subway there. All right, let's get into some news. The first article we got this week. Prime Video released on Twitter our first, I don't know if you can say it's a first look, but you hear Hamish Linklater, who is going to be the voice of Batman in Batman the Caped Crusader, coming out to Prime later this year. His take on doing the voice of Batman. And John, since you are our biggest Batman the Animated Series fan, what did you think?
It sounds good. Sounds okay.
Do you think he's doing an impersonation of oh my god, my brain just went blank. Our favorite Batman.
You mean Kevin Conroy?
Yes. Do you think he's doing an impersonation of Kevin Conroy? I kind of feel like
who wouldn't add a little bit of that into this?
Yeah.
Of course he is. Like, he's doing the
because he's a little younger. He's a little younger than us. Might be about Don's age, maybe a little younger than that. So he definitely grew up watching Batman the Animated Series, and all those years hearing Kevin Conroy do the voice. And I kind of feel like all of us, at least Gen Xers, have said at some point, when I read a Batman comic, that's the voice of Batman is Kevin Conroy. So if he's of that ilk, yeah, he's going to be doing.
Yeah, and you have to remember when Kevin Conroy started doing the voice of Batman, he didn't have much difference between the voice of
he
Batman
always said
and the
that,
voice of. Yeah,
he always said his voice was Batman, and then he went up a little bit to do Bruce Wayne. Yeah,
right. But he got it down after like the first season and a half, I'd say, to what everybody now remembers. And then, went on to like, I don't know, another 4 seasons of Batman, the animated series in one form or another. And then the Justice League Unlimited and Superman animated adventures. He's a little rough. This voice, it's funny. Kevin Conroy did it and you couldn't tell he was trying. This guy sounds like he's trying.
What did you think, Don?
I thought he sounded okay, but you want to hear like a horrible secret?
Sure.
Okay.
When I read Batman, I don't hear Kevin Conroy. I hear Adam West.
I knew it. I knew you would say that.
There's nothing wrong with that at freaking all.
Oh my god.
I've never been able to get that out of my head.
Okay,
Yeah, I grew up with Adam West too. I get it.
It was just one of those things. Like my grandma had the Batman 63 movie on VHS, and it was just another
66.
thing I'd watch. 66, and I would just watch it over and over again with the TV shows on Nick at Night.
Oh my god, no, and yeah, I get that. It's funny, but no, not me. Like once I got engrossed in Batman the Animated Series, yeah, that was it. That was the voice in my head was Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
But no, I get
Don-
it. I mean,
Don
Go
just
ahead.
reminded me of something. Go onto YouTube. I don't know what the search terms can be, but somebody put, I think it might have been the Corridor Crew. In fact, I think it is the Corridor Crew. They put Adam West's Batman into the Batman. It is freaking hilarious.
Yeah, I gotta watch it.
It's got to be Corridor Crew. Do a search on Corridor Crew and Batman. I'm sure you'll find it.
Right.
But it's they managed to CGI Adam West's Batman into the Batman,
oh my god.
and they put the regular Penguin in there too, I think. So
Oh god, what's his name?
or the original Penguin.
Yeah, what was that? Oh my god. I'm trying to think of the actor's name who played the Penguin.
Oh, the original Penguin.
Yeah.
Oh God, I can't remember. It's been so long.
I
I remember
it's
Caesar
on the tip of my
Romero
tongue.
Did he play in Rocky movies too? No.
Yes, Burgess Meredith. Yes,
Burgess
yes,
Meredith, that's it.
yes. He was the coach, Rocky's coach. So yeah, Mickey. Yes, he was Mickey in the Rocky movies.
I caught that. This
Well,
is
I was gonna
something
say, because on says anyone catch the Penguin shirt trailer. That's another one of our articles. The new trailer for the Penguin dropped this week. Kasan says it looks great. Don, what did you think of the trailer for the Penguin?
I'm not interested in that shit. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I just the makeup don't impress me. Just nothing about it. I can't.
I don't care about the makeup or any of that. Like, look, he did an amazing job in the Batman, but this is like Gotham 2.0. Like having a Batman adjacent show without having Batman in it, I don't care. Like you want to do a 2-hour special of the Penguin rising to power on HBO Max and leave it at that, or a 1-hour special. Here's how the Penguin becomes the gang leader. So when we get to the next movie, you have a little bit of a backstory. Fine. But to do a whole series, like, no, I don't care. Like, I don't care enough to watch it. Like, don't give me a Batman adjacent series, which I know Pattinson is not going to show up as Batman in. Like, I don't want that. What do you think there, Johnny Boy?
They're really squeezing that rock hard. I don't know how much blood they're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's like I am continually amazed at all of these mega corporations that own these beloved properties that will just throw anything onto a screen to try and squeeze any amount of money out of the fans to the point where they're killing these franchises.
Not only that, we've got the launch of the new DCU coming out, hopefully next year, with a Superman movie, and there's also going to be
Blue Beetle, right? Or no, that was an anime. It's an animation.
Yeah, the Blue Beetle anime. There's going to be a bunch of stuff coming out, and it's like now throwing in this Penguin series that is its own Elseworld story. I feel like you're just hurting James Gunn's work at that point, and no one's going to care about it. I don't think anyone's going to watch this. Maybe Kassan's going to watch
Batman.
It. Not without Batman, right?
Like, if bunch of cool fucking shows about Batman villains, just have Batman in it. Like, not even every show, really. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's the season ending to every one of these shows as we see how the villains come across Batman for the first time.
The problem is, I think Harley Quinn works because he's an interesting character. They've done interesting things with her in that show. But I don't... The Penguin... Also, the Penguin himself has never been that interesting of a character,
Harley Quinn has been able to escape the Batman Rogues Gallery. I mean, she's definitely
Yeah.
Well, no, she's not even in his Rogues Gallery. She's the assistant of one of his Rogues Gallery.
Right.
But you could almost equate her to more to or attach her to Suicide Squad more than Batman. She's done her own thing with the animation, that funny
Right.
that crew DC show that like I know my goddaughter loves.
Yeah.
She has been able to crawl her way out of that Rogues Gallery a little bit. So that's why I think she works more than Penguin. Like,
Yeah.
Superman ever give a shit about Penguin? No.
I mean, it's funny because the Penguin works in Batman the Animated Series because he is like almost a foible.
He's a fixer.
He's a fixer, but he's also like a counterpart to Bruce Wayne, right? Like they're both rich, they're both millionaires, but the Penguin goes one way.
One's got
Bruce
three fingers, and yeah.
Well, and and the Penguin was a fixer. He was the guy. He was the link that Batman could use to get into the underworld because Penguin had his hands in both sides, and that made him a more interesting character too. Because there were things he knew that and the plot could have run through him. But this is, I don't know. See, if they hadn't called the character the Penguin and they called him something else and say it's a mob movie, might have been fine. The trailer looks good for that kind of thing. But it's just the fact that, dude, if you're going to make something, it's like you said, if you're going to make something Batman adjacent or Spider-Man adjacent and not have them in there, what's the point?
Kassan said the Joker movie did great. Joker 2 will most likely make money. I don't see why the Penguin can't do the same.
Kassan, can you sing that, please?
Can
you sing that Joker, like they're going to do a Joker 2? I don't know.
I like the Joker when it was originally called, what was it, the Comedian or Taxi Driver? Like that's all the Joker was. It was a retelling of those movies. Like, and I'm sorry, the Joker movie's okay, but it's not a Joker movie. Like, it makes no sense. It doesn't. It's just a gangster or dark movie. It does. They just slapped the Joker on there to like make money, but you could do that with. You could have done that with anything. You don't want me to sing.
It's a shocking movie. I mean, it has a message.
King of Comedy. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it was originally
the original.
King of Comedy.
Yeah.
I think there's a pretty strong message in the Joker when it comes to like mental illness and kind of how those people are treated. So I think that has a lot to do with the success of it. I didn't go to the theater, so I saw it on streaming, and I was like, okay, that's not bad. It wasn't Batman Joker though,
Right. I honestly do not think, it's my opinion, the Joker doesn't work without Batman. I'm actually looking something up because Hassan said it made money, and but my question is, how much money did it actually make?
Actually,
also,
good,
it actually did make a lot of money. All right, fine.
Yeah, it did.
It did. The Joker. They made money with that shit. That's why Joker 2.
That's why they're making Joker 2. Yeah.
Well, just remember, this has Zazie Beetz and Lady Gaga in it. Like, this is not going to be a slouch for star power, that's for sure. And these are pretty good actors too. So they might be able to make something out of it.
Kassan says, I think the Penguin will bring in the gangster fans. It opens the brand to a new audience. Yes and no. I kind of feel like, again, it brings people in and they might go see the Batman 2 based on that, which is fine. But I think the Batman is the one character that has been proven over and over again. It doesn't matter what you do to him, he makes money at the box office. But I think people who go see this and then go see the new Superman movie will get confused because it's a different universe. And I think that hurts the brand in the long run. So that's just my opinion. We'll see what happens. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Oh, yeah. So we talked about Blade. The movies are doing bad right now. They don't have a movie yet. They're still working
They don't exist.
things
They
out. They don't have a
won't
director. They don't have a director. That blah blah blah. But there is a new Blade series coming out. Red Band, Blade Red Band. It's coming out later this year. It's going to be a bloody, adult-oriented comic book, and it's
gonna
funny.
be Blade.
It's Blade, right? But it's going to be more bloody than they've done in the past. And here's the thing: I kind of feel like the Blade movie was supposed to originally come out in February next year, 2025, and then it was going to be the end of 2025. God only knows when it's going to come out. But those of us who have friends who work in the comic industry know things are planned out pretty far in advance, and they put stories out. They write stories far in advance because they need to get the artwork done. When it's a monthly book, they've got to get it out. I really feel like this book relaunching was to promote the Blade movie, but now the Blade movie's not coming out. So, I'm kind of curious. You guys going to check this book out? Yeah, exactly. Oh,
I may check it out. But I wonder if they're releasing it just to prove a point. Like, see, this is all you got to do. He goes to this place and fights these vampires for this reason. Okay. Then he maybe talks to some non-vampires for about 10 minutes. All right, next scene. Here's a bunch of vampires over here that need to be killed. It's like, okay, repeat that for about an hour.
I mean, I've always liked Blade as a character. I will be honest, I don't own a lot of like his solo books. Anytime he's been in a Spidey book or an Avengers book, I definitely have him in it. He was in the Defenders for a little while too. People who've not read the original Defenders need to do it because it is a great book. But that being said, like, I'm definitely going to check this out because I do feel like, honestly, I do think this book is being put out. It was originally designed as a promotion for the new movie.
Yeah.
So I think this will give you an idea of like what Marvel wants to do with Blade, what they want to do with him for the movie. I honestly feel like you need to check this book out to see where the people who run the comic book at least want the character in the movie to go.
I'll agree.
Brian Edward Hill. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead, John.
The author is Brian Edward Hill. Do either of you know anything about him?
I can't say I've read anything.
He did the Ultimate Black Panther, I guess.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
The recent one?
Yeah.
Okay. I've only read like.
Have you read it?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. I'm not digging the Ultimate. I mean, I've never dug the Ultimate stuff, but the new Ultimate stuff I'm still not digging. But Blade, to me, I didn't give a shit about him in the comics. I never have. Well, okay, except for he was all right. There was one X-Men story where Blade teamed up with the X-Men. It was a whole big vampire thing. He works way better in motion in a movie. Always has to me.
Yeah.
Even
yes,
Spider-Man
when you see him like wipe out a whole room of vampires, that's cool. Yeah.
Right. I mean, in the comics, that's like it's Tuesday.
Right.
But on the screen there, it's like, oh, that looks fucking cool. Twirling your sword around and shit, and So I'm not saying I won't check it out, but Blade is much cooler off of the comic pages. I know that's blasphemous and horrible, but it's true to me, at least. He
was created as a foible for
reality.
Like, let's be honest. Marvel had a Dracula book, and he was created as a foible for Dracula. And does people like that story so much he became his own character? But yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. He's become an important character, though. I mean, let's be honest. If it wasn't for Blade, there wouldn't be an MCU. So.
Correct. Yeah. Absolutely. The first DVD I ever owned was the Blade movie.
Really?
Yeah. Absolutely. Nice. Yep. I can still remember. I remember paying. I was still living at home. I was a teenager working on the weekends, so I had disposable income. I remember paying like $2,000 for my first DVD player, and absolutely the first DVD I picked up was Blade. I remember like in the options menu and shit, it would tell you all about the different vampire sects, like back when that shit was cool.
The first
VHS I ever owned was John Carpenter's The Thing, and it scared the crap out of me because my father
just made me realize
scaring us.
how cliche is this? The first DVD I've ever owned was The Matrix.
Monochromatic trench coats, yeah, baby.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's funny. Like I just realized that as I'm.
Yes, it was way before the PS3 came out, sir. That was PS1 days. That was playing Final Fantasy VII with my PlayStation upside down because it wouldn't cool properly otherwise. Days.
Mine was Atari days.
My first DVD player was actually a Christmas present from my late wife when we were dating, and and she actually bought The Matrix too to go with it. Yeah, that's funny.
That was a good DVD to have.
It's still in my cabinet of all my DVDs that I don't watch anymore.
Yeah, I know. I've got boxes of that shit.
Isn't it funny? Streaming has changed that so much. And it's funny, non sequitur here, but like I listen to podcasts where they're like they're media guys, like John is. John believes in owning the media.
I'm buying a new bookcase because I have so many Blu-rays and 4K discs now.
My brother is one of those guys. I helped him build shelves in his basement specifically for his DVD collection. Which is fine, but then he turns around and like anything that he can buy on streaming and DVD, he does, or I'm sorry, Blu-ray now, but because he doesn't want to go and pull the shelf down. That's
hilarious.
The Blu-ray down from the shelf, where if he can just watch it streaming, but if that ever goes away, he's like, well, then I've got the media right there. But right now, instead of pulling it down,
he'll pay $20.
He buys it twice because you can, like, a lot of these, like, what is it? Movies Anywhere, you can scan it and then just pay $5 for the same movie on the streaming app, and it's just like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's not guaranteed, because when they went from Ultraviolet to Movies Anywhere, a lot of people lost their accounts.
Yes.
So you're not even guaranteed that. Which is why I have all physical media.
Again, but I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm just saying, like, yeah, he has both. And I'm like, that's a lot of money you've put out in that.
That is a lot.
But he doesn't have kids.
It's a lot of money just to own the physical one. To buy it on a streaming service too. Wow.
Dude, that's the divide right there. I notice people without kids, they got all sorts of, money to buy dumb shit.
Exactly.
Man.
Rich people problems.
No, I mean,
first world problems.
First world problem. Yeah, I would pay $20 just so I don't have to walk.
Yeah, they're dinks.
DVD for the shelf.
Dual income, no kids. Oh, it gets me mad. They go to Disney like every year. All right. Our final article does go right into our main topic. Superman. My Adventures with Superman has been officially greenlit for season 3, so that's good because I don't know where this season is going.
It's going good places though.
It is. We're really going to get into this because, believe it or not, I had not watched the last 2 episodes of season 1. So when I decided to do this, I got caught up the last few days, and I really do like how season 1 ended. Like, that was good. But we'll get into it. Yeah, so I mean, I think it's a good thing. I'll definitely watch season 3. I know John will. Will Don watch season 3? That's the question.
Have you watched any of it, Don?
I've watched the first season and 5 episodes of the second season. Well, right, did the 6th episode come out an hour ago?
Yeah. It came. I watched it when I got home today.
I got you. So yeah, I mean, I'm essentially caught up. Will I watch season 3? Are we going to talk about it?
We'll talk about it. So you know what? let's take a
I'm
quick,
watching season 3, I guess. So
let's
You know,
take
that's
a
what I'm
quick
saying.
commercial break, and let's talk about Superman when we get back.
This is so wizarding.
Broadcasting very fast and very dangerous from the planet Malistan. You are listening to So Wizard.
You're thinking people gonna die?
The only podcast to make the Kessel run in under 12 parsecs.
No one to stop us this time.
I am your host, Joey DiCarlo, and with me, my co-hosts, the queen of all nerds, Aubrey Litchfield, and the expert, Mr. Marquis, Mark Ellis-Ray. You are listening to So Wizard Podcast, where three friends review movies, TV, and sometimes more, podcasting weekly on the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. For Kellis Reagans, please tell the listeners where they can find more So Wizard Podcasts.
Everybody, you can head on over to SoWizardPodcast.com, and there you're going to find a brand new episode every week. Find So Wizard on all podcasting streaming platforms, such as iTunes, Spotify, Good Pods, and pretty much wherever you can find a podcast. Check out our YouTube page, where new content is being uploaded regularly. We also have a Patreon page. For as little as $1 a month, you can receive exclusive bonus content while you're supporting the show.
No, I didn't. First of all, a podcast takes a lot of work, okay? You have to organize the guests, you have to do a Google Calendar, and then you build a following. It takes a long time, and I've been working on it for a while.
We need a Google Calendar. All right, gentlemen. We did talk about My Adventures with Superman last year. We talked about like the first few episodes, and then it kind of dropped off. We weren't keeping up with it. So in all honesty, I did get caught up the last few days. It was the last 3 episodes of season 1 I hadn't watched, so I got caught up with those, and then I'm up to date. I watched up to episode 6, and I want to talk about this because I'm a Smallville fan, and I loved Smallville because it was a different take on the origins of Superman, and so is this. Someone said, let's take Superman and tell his origin, but modernize it and make it different. You know, it's an Ultimates version where everything's connected too, right? Like they did in Ultimate Spider-Man, where everything was connected to Oscorp. Like in this, everything is connected to Checkmate in the DC universe. So I really enjoy this show. So I'm kind of curious. I know, John, you love the show. Kind of curious, Don, what you thought up to this point.
What I thought, and I can't help, maybe I've been affected by our Acolyte talk with the nitpicking that has been done to that show, because I have a lot of nitpicking with this show.
Okay.
And so I just, but I'll go ahead and say right now, my major problem with this show is the treatment of Jonathan Kent. More police here, I don't, but Jonathan Kent is supposed to be the backbone of Superman's morals. He's the person that he talks to, again, throughout the lore that I've gotten to know over the past 44 years of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so with all the nitpicking I can do with the show, I realize it's for kids. It's a decent introduction into Superman if you're a kid. I love the action, love the hardcore like guitar that goes on when they're doing the fights. Reminds me of Invincible without the blood. But the fact that the only thing I've seen Jonathan Kent do so far is make a halfway decent joke, be scolded by his wife, and then bake and unsuccessfully bake a turkey, I have a problem with.
Okay. I will say this. I am a Superman fan. And Jonathan Kent is a character In the comics, he's dead. He's alive. He's dead. He's
Mhm.
alive. Like, he's not a consistent character in the comic books, unfortunately. I agree. He is Superman's moral backbone and should be. In some of the best comics from the best stories from the comics, he is the moral backbone. Of course, the original Superman movies with Christopher Reeve, he is definitely Superman's moral compass.
He would never tell Superman to let a busload of kids die. Never.
Exactly.
Just a
And Man of
moral, just a
Steel,
North Star.
in Smallville, portrayed by John Schneider. Again, he is definitely Clark's moral compass. He dies in that show, of course, of a heart attack, like he did in the original movie. He sacrifices himself in Man of Steel, which is horrible. Some of the best conversations in the comic books are between Jonathan and Clark. I will definitely agree with you there. And they have sidelined him a little bit in this show. And I hope they do improve upon that. I can't disagree with that, Don. But other than that, like, it's an anime take too on Superman, which, correct me if I'm wrong, John. Is that one of the reasons you love the show?
I mean, I don't get an anime feel from it. Like, there's no fan service for each episode.
There's big expressive eyes. The
well, yeah, no,
style.
the art style is a lot like that. I'll give you that. But I like the show because it does have heart. The interplay between Lois and Clark is, I mean, it feels real, you know. Like that's good writing. They feel like, you know, they're having problems. I mean, it's a little bit of Smallville too, where there's just
interject?
like sometimes it's like, I got to tell you something important. Oh, something happened. We'll talk later. You know, a little bit of that.
Can I interject?
I hate that.
I know, right?
So you guys know, a few weeks ago, Karen and I went through like a rough patch, and we didn't talk for like a week, but we're obviously we're good now. But in it was like one of the latest. It was the episode 5, where the
oh yeah,
it was eligible bachelor, season 2, episode 5, eligible bachelor Superman, and she breaks up with him because it's like, oh my god, you could do better than me, and like, I don't feel like I'm holding you back. You can do better than me. That was Karen's like logic behind why she didn't like talk to me for a week, because she's like, you're a good guy, you can do better than me. So it's like, God, that hit me. That was a gut punch watching that episode.
Well, it was her watching Clark as Superman, talking to all these stars and everything, and seeing how much attention he was getting, and feeling like she couldn't fit into that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But going back to what Don said, like, yeah, the whole, I have something incredibly important and life-changing to tell you. Oh, somebody dropped their pen. I'll tell you in a minute. You know, like that whole thing can get a little bit old.
That's been a trope, especially this season, a lot. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're not playing on that too much. You know, given that they're really hitting all of these Superman beats really hard, which is why I think, Don, that they haven't gone to the Pa Kent well yet. I think they might after what's going on in this 6th episode of season 2, because he's going to have a lot of questions about what's right and wrong after that.
Well, don't you think he'll just talk to Solid Snake Jor-El more?
Solid Snake who?
Jor-El, his father.
Oh,
Solid Snake in the
he
season.
can't.
The iPad, the mullet.
No. See, here's the thing. Like
Luthor's Otacon.
You weren't paying attention. His ship got destroyed, so like he can't talk to Jor-El right now. I'm sure they will fix that at some point.
Yeah,
but right at this point, he can't talk. Yeah. I think the brilliance of this show is twofold. One is how do I say this? him gaining powers as the show goes on, and anyone who is a Superman fan and like understands the history of the book, when Superman was first introduced, he could jump tall buildings in a single bound. He was faster than more powerful than a locomotive, faster than a speeding bullet, like, and invulnerable. Like, those were his powers. He couldn't fly. He didn't have heat vision. He didn't have cool breath. He didn't have that. Got added as the years went on, right? Like, and then of course the explanation of the red sun, like on Krypton, and the yellow sun on Earth, giving him his powers. Like that all is a long history of him evolving from the character that was created in the 40s to basically, I think the 70s, late 70s is when we got the Superman to the point where he is today, and Superman everyone knows. So him gaining powers, and they haven't explained why it's happening, but him gaining powers as the show goes on, it's like, that's brilliant, because that's kind of giving us a weird history of it happening in the comics. And I love that aspect of the show. I really do. Like, he just got the cold breath, I think.
That was cold.
Season.
That was cold. Yeah, Kassan just asked that here. That was cold breath, Kassan.
Yeah. It was.
That looks like a mouth laser to me. So I'll take the explanation.
Yeah, I think it was an ice blast. It was his cold breath. Like,
well,
I think
it froze the guy solid after that.
Right, exactly.
So that is one thing that is throwing me off, but the other half of my brain is reminding the other half, this is Superman. How many riders has he had? Yes, I know you're not used to going him Super Saiyan blue, but
thank you.
It's Superman, so I really can't be mad at it because that.
And you want to know something, Don? They did this right. They had the Council of Loises. Like, we know that there are other Superman exists, but they did that story. It's done. They're not doing anything with it again, and it's good. It's like they're hitting all these other Superman story beats, but they're not going to make that like the central part, which is perfect.
No, and it's.
Am I supposed to hate Lois though? Am I supposed to hate her because I do?
What, really?
You hate this Lois, or you hate the Lois from the
I
Council
hate this Lois.
Why?
Well, when she first met Superman, she lied to him. He was just an intern trying to get a job in a newspaper, and she completely disregards any of that and lies to him to get her way with him. Now, she does acknowledge this, and she does approve this a little bit, but then only, and I think it's episode 5, because that's where I have my note. I hate Lois. I hate this Lois Lane. But at some point, she gets mad at him for not like revealing that he's Superman. And I'm just like, where are you coming from with this?
Don, I thought you were married.
I'm very married to a woman that is.
Yeah, have you never had your wife wake up because she had a dream that you did something bad and get mad at you?
Yes, I have. Yes, but at the same time, she was like, "I know I shouldn't be mad at you. This is ludicrous, though."
My late wife did that to me, and Karen has done that to me. Like, she had a dream where I did something bad, and she's mad at me, and she's like, "I know I shouldn't be mad at you, but I am." So I kind of feel like it's the same kind of logic.
They did kind of clean that one up. They didn't let that hang for a long time, though. They did clean that plot point up pretty quickly. You know, she did apologize and all that.
Come on, it's woman logic. I feel like I honestly feel like she's a well-written woman and in a cartoon, and we don't always get
very
that.
young. They're all young in this.
Yeah, that's another thing to point out. Like, they're like, Superman's young here. You're used to dealing with like a 30-something Superman. He's a young,
huge. Holy shit! This has to be the biggest Superman I've ever seen.
Yeah, man's got gains. He's swole. Yeah.
Holy crap! He's
so
just
much
towering
like,
over everybody.
And that's the other thing too, right? Like, he's so much bigger than Lois, which is weird, but I mean, it works. Like, you want a Superman that you look at and you feel safe when you look at him. You know, Here's the other brilliant thing I wanted to say about the show, in my opinion, is how they have tied everything together, right? Because again, you're dealing with an animated show where you're only getting 10 episodes a season. So if you want to bring in all these elements, you have to tie them together. So we have Checkmate with Waller, who now is working with Lex Luthor. I thought the way they brought him in was really good. And this show has been so good at, you're confused on who these characters, it's a Superman character. Like, they're not inventing anyone for the show. But when they had the general, I kept thinking it was what's his face?
Sergeant what's the fucker? He's in the Suicide
yeah, the guy from the Suicide Squad. Flag. I kept thinking it's gonna be Flag. And when they flip on it and you realize, oh, it's General Lane, it's Lois's father, it's like, oh my God, like,
they made him way more part of this than we've seen thus far.
Than you've seen him used in TV and movies before. I mean, he's a big part of the comic.
Thank you, because I don't know that much about the lore. I'm like, is this a comic book? After I realized he was Elaine and not Flag.
He's always been a general, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to the show for letting some big guy action, seep in here, though. I mean, we have a man.
Exactly.
But, there's some rotund, important characters in here. And it's the guy with the mech suit, another fat guy with the big mech suit with the hammer. Was that Steel? Am I reading that correctly?
That is cool. Steel. Yeah. Yeah. I liked the way they did Steel. That worked for me as well.
And they're hitting all these beats really quick too. The writing is really tight.
It is very tight. It's kind of like what was X-Men 97 in that sense.
Didn't I mention that before? It's like they seem to have taken a page from them,
It's kind of I just there's some things that aren't so tight, but I'm gonna digress on.
No, it's fine. That's okay.
No, because I'm talking about dumb shit like the very first episode where like the cat was missing. Like they had colorized posters already and the cat was hanging in the tree. Like how long did the cat hang in the tree while they're making those posters? Just dumb shit like that. I mean, just crazy.
Speaking as someone who has cats, that cat was watching him make the posters and just laughing at the human.
But like, I thought they had him breaking shit for way too long. Like he should have been way more used to his powers by that time. So, and I guess that's a big difference in canon because his powers seem to manifest in teenage. Where again, my Superman, I'll always go back to the little boy from the first movie that was like lifting the cars up and shit while he was in diapers, like So I'm not quite hip to the whole. Okay, we're gradually get to our Superman Smallville type thing, I guess.
I don't know. I kind of like.
Doesn't take away my enjoyment, though. I can't say that it can. I'm not going to lie and say it takes away my enjoyment because it doesn't.
Right. I mean, I like the idea that like Parasite is a guy in a suit.
What a crappy name to name your product, though, right? Hey, everyone, let's get the brand new Parasite. You're going to love it. Parasites do great stuff.
Because that was the villain name in the comic book, right? So like
I understand, but he would psycho murder for no reason.
It was Disney that named it.
and they designed it like an Evangelion mech too. Like it did not look like a human body should be in that thing.
That did look. You're right. That did look quite like an Evangelion. So that was yeah.
And then you find out that it's Kryptonian tech because of Zero Day and the quote unquote invasion. This show keeps zigging when you think it's going to zag. Like first off, you think that General's Flag, and you find out it's Lane.
Yeah.
You think this was the big reveal that just happened.
And spoilers, people.
Spoilers.
But watch it.
You think that it's Zod in that suit, and you find out it's Brainiac, and it's like, what the? Like,
see,
oh my God.
It was Kara.
I'm sorry.
It was Kara.
No, I don't care. It's fine. Yeah, that's the last I saw. Is Kara is working with that.
They keep saying robot. You're going to kneel, and kneel before Zod is like the big line from the comics and the movies, and you think, oh, this is going to be Zod, and it's like, no, it's Brainiac. It's like, oh my god, and their Brainiac is so different from anything we've seen before too. So I'm digging it. And a dark Supergirl, like they've done it in the comics before, but doing it here was like, yeah.
Well,
I'm
here's
digging
the
that.
thing. The one of the big stories is that many of the mediums have done is Superman getting brainwashed by Darkseid and being used as a weapon. In this case, they're doing it to Kara, and she's going to have to deal with the trauma that comes from that, just as Superman did in like again. I hate to keep going back to it, but Bruce Timm did it in a very awesome way, because it tied into the whole Justice League thing too, where, oh my God, Superman went rogue. He was brainwashed, and the Earth was nearly destroyed. We need something to counteract Superman now, which
right.
So,
and they're in a
trauma of that.
They're in a remnant of Krypton floating through space, which is Kandor. And anyone who's familiar with Superman lore, Kandor is the only surviving city from Krypton that was shrunk down, is in the bottled city that Superman keeps on a shelf in the Fortress of Solitude.
But Brainiac's still destroying every place they go. Oh, and they mentioned Thanagar, which is Hawkman and Hawkgirl's homeworld.
Yep.
So maybe they show up in this. They haven't really shown any other superheroes yet. So,
right.
Well, they did show a Green Lantern.
So...
They showed a Green Lantern.
How do you like Deathstroke? How do you like this Deathstroke design? I'm digging it actually a lot. Oh, he's in like a mech, or do you like a more like traditional?
Again, I think that's one of the things where they're tying everything in with this Kryptonian technology, and in a way they're making it more, I can't say the word believable, but making it a little more grounded. That even sounds stupid too, but like
yeah, because I see where you're going with that, Dave, but at the same time, and maybe this is just me being not that familiar with DC, like they have fucking holograms and shit. Like regular people have holograms.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
And I just got done with Blue Beetle, and it's the same shit. Like it's a very technically advanced society in that. So the DC seems to be like a little bit more futuristic.
It is
grounded. I know what you mean, but at the same time, it's hard to say grounded though.
Right. Instead of just the guy who's an incredible shot, like he's
got that gun that turns
incredible
into
assassin.
two swords, a gun.
Yeah.
All the tech fits the storyline, fits the setting that they've given it, and it works. And Kassan, that's a man. That
what
would
are
be
the
awesome,
chances we'll get a guest appearance from Batman?
Well, Vicky Vale and Gotham is already.
I was about to say, they set up Gotham, right? Gotham Gazette. That I would love it, but from my understanding, DC and Warner Brothers is very weird about how they divvy up who can use what, and the thing is, if it's like, well, we've got the Batman 2 coming out and the DCU and all this stuff, having Batman in the animated movie, a show, might hurt his numbers. We don't want that. But
then again, WB needs money, and having Batman guest star in here would drive people to Max.com. And they've already set up the premise.
They did.
Lois has been offered a job in Gotham. They're already on the rocks. If they don't resolve that, she could go to Gotham for a while and I'm interviewing Bruce Wayne, and have Clark follow her to Gotham. So they've already set up the premise that could very easily.
I'll say this:
guest star.
If this season ends, my guess is somewhere near the end of this season, she will take that job. And season 3, if they do an episode where she interviews Bruce Wayne, like, okay. But then she'll realize her heart belongs to Metropolis and she'll come back to the Daily Planet, of course. But Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, your mom's name's Martha? Hey, I know a Martha.
No.
I'm just,
No.
I'm just saying Batman
here's the
and
thing.
Superman, they might want to keep them separate for another decade or two.
I was about to say, here's the thing too. I want to point out is that once you bring Batman in, you've already pointed out there's a Green Lantern. They've mentioned Hawkman and Hawkgirl's home planet,
Homeworld.
Homeworld. Then it starts becoming, oh, well, let's make a Justice League, but this is a Superman show, right? Like, do we want to take away from Superman by bringing in the Justice League?
Maybe they're trying to start another Bruce Timm universe.
They
That
could
would
do,
be
they
interesting.
could do that. I don't know.
As long as the studio stays out of it and they keep whatever writers are doing this right now, because right now they're doing okay. Again, WB needs money.
Yeah, I won't disagree with that.
And if they get it through Max, well,
does this season end with like? We're at episode 6, so there's only 4 episodes left.
Yep.
Is this just going to be Superman versus Brainiac? He defeats Brainiac, and then we bring Supergirl onto Earth, and there's like that.
Brainiac's a big bad, so I would say, yeah, we're going to be dealing with him for the next 4 episodes.
Right, and then and the thing is, you defeat Brainiac, but he's a computer intelligence, so he survives somehow and comes back. Like that's over and over in the comics. Brainiac always comes back. So, oh wait, I missed 2 comments here. Where's my mouse? Kassan says season 4 may be Justice League relaunch. Interesting. And then I'm always surprised how good WB animated studios write their content versus Marvel. Yeah,
WB's animated division has been on point with very few bad ones. Batman Ninja, but
here's the
otherwise, like and Marvel was the opposite. Their movies were good, but their animated stuff was okay. At best. Now it's the only one that's consistent is still the WB's animation studios.
Having interviewed people who worked for Warner Brothers Animation, I think the thing that makes that work so well is they have said there isn't a lot of studio interference in what they do, because what they're doing works and people are happy with it. They're allowed to just keep doing what they do, create worlds, destroy worlds, all that stuff. And it shows where the movies have a lot of interference from the studios. That's why you get nipples on the
the
bat.
Killing Joke should have had a little bit more interference, though. Maybe you shouldn't have Batman fuck Batgirl. Or
yeah, that was
yeah. All right, I'll give you that. that was like one of the worst things they've ever done, and I don't know.
But
Batman Ninja too. That was horrible.
But judging X-Men 97 now.
Oh yeah.
And we say that Marvel animated because they just split them all up again, right? And we talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we say that they're making some inroads because I agree the DC animated universe has always been the go-to DC shit for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But with X-Men 97, I don't know. Are we going to see a resurgence here on the Marvel side?
We could hope. We're
already talking about the Spider-Man and all that
I was about
shit.
to say, like, giving us that scene with Mary Jane and Peter in X-Men 97, resolving Spider-Man, the animated series, the way they ended that, kind of says they could spin off a Spider-Man series from this. And I'm okay with that. And then they also showed Daredevil too, right? So, yeah. Let's see. It takes 3 to make a trend, Don. Give me 2 more Marvel animated projects that hold water.
Does the next season of X-Men count or no?
I'd say that would count. And we've got a lot of Avengers in there too. They could do it Avengers as well. Although the Iron Man looked a lot more primitive compared to what we're used to.
So I mean, I'm gonna say
So-
that like in the '90s we had X-Men, we had the Spider-Man cartoon. We did get a Fantastic Four show. Oh, Kassan said it counts.
Okay.
And so the idea is like, and it's so weird when you think about it. X-Men '97 is relaunching the '90s X-Men show. Is that going to be the backbone for their animation going forward? Because yeah, they've had a lot of their direct to DVD movies that aren't that good. They had a couple of shows on Disney Plus. There was an Avengers show that was very much modeled after the Avengers from the movies. Like the guy doing Tony Stark's voice obviously is trying to do a Robert Downey Jr. impression, the whole thing. And it didn't last that long. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't the best thing. So they launched this, and it's like everyone's loving it. Yeah, it's just a weird thought. Like, let's relaunch everything from the '90s because that's when people loved us. I don't know.
They just know that us 40, 50-year-olds have the most cash. So.
Yeah. Do you bring back like the
I don't
same
anymore,
guys
but-
who the guy who voiced
Right.
the same guy who voiced Spider-Man? Do you bring him back to do it? Do you bring back
As
all
long
those
as he doesn't, as long as he's not doing a rogue, because, and I'm sorry I can't remember her name, but sometimes you can really tell that she's being voiced by a 60-year-old.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Not in every, it's not consistent. Some episodes are worse than others in that respect, but
Yep.
you know, just make sure.
All right. Well,
Yep.
I think I'm definitely going to finish watching this season. We'll talk about it. Maybe we'll talk about. Well, you haven't watched episode 6 yet, right?
No, but I will. I'll finish it. I mean, I've got a lot of nitpicks about the show. But overall,
show-
though,
For those who don't know, the show airs on Adult Swim on Sundays, and then it's on Max the following day. So episode 7 should be out by next week, so we can talk about that. But yeah, I like it. I think I love different takes where they're also not making Superman out to be a dick.
yeah. Do you think Jimmy Olsen's money will survive the season?
No, I think that's a running gag. By
Here's
the time we get
something
to
to
the
think
end,
about. Yeah, I never saw his counter pay taxes, and taxes on like $5 million is going to be like $2.5 million.
I honestly think that's something that's going to happen in an episode. It's going to be like, yeah, all of a sudden he's got like half his money because he hadn't paid the taxes yet. Yeah.
Well, where did he get the spaceship? How much do you think he had to give them to make the spaceship so they could follow him? The
Spaceship?
Yeah, at the end of 6, they Lois and him they picked up the science monkey?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So how much money do you think he blew on giving the mad scientist ape a spaceship?
Thank you. That reminds me. Thank you. So that's not Gorilla Grodd?
No, that's not.
No.
Okay. They're funny. Like that whole robot and the ape thing with the French accent.
It is. It's awesome.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Nobody fights it. Do you remember, Kassan, do you remember the episode in Batman the Animated Series where the IRS comes and hands Joker a bill, and the next scene is Joker getting all this money from all these banks he robbed to give it to the IRS? Is like, oh yeah, no, I'll fight Batman, I'll fight this, but nobody messes with the IRS.
You're right. Kassan says Superman
Messing with
fights
the IRS,
the
are you
greatest,
crazy?
fights the greatest enemy yet, the IRS. Jimmy is on the run.
Nobody, even the Joker's not crazy enough to mess with the IRS.
All right, guys, let's put a pin in this. We'll continue this next week. Let's go around and let me know, what did you learn this week, or do you have any recommendations? And John, you can go first.
What did I learn? I learned that Disney is making things really, really complicated, and it's
Yeah.
getting really hard to tell whose point of view is correct and whose is misogynistic, because everything is starting to meld together in this huge dumpster fire full of dog shit. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm listening to all sides, but I'm backing off. And I also learned that we have fans now that hate us. Yes, achievement unlocked. So give me your hate. It fuels my fire. As far as recommendation goes, now there was an anime. Kassan probably knows this. There's an anime a while ago called Spice and Wolf. It's considered one of the best anime of all time.
Mhm.
And I finally they redid it. I picked up the redo of it, and it's amazing. It's really good. So it's called Spice and Wolf. It's about a guy, a traveling peddler. It's set up in the ancient times. A traveling peddler who picks up basically a wolf demon, who was protecting this town's crop for hundreds of years, and then they go around, and it's really fun because it's almost like trade negotiations in Star Wars, except it's still interesting. The writing is so good. The characters are
You
so
lost me.
amazing.
You lost me at trade negotiations.
The Wolf Hollow is just so funny. Like, no, you gotta. It's amazing. I wholeheartedly recommend it to anybody. It is way better than you think it is. That's all I can say.
All right. Okay. Don.
I didn't learn anything today other than I'm alone. No.
You're not alone. Isn't there a kitten
yeah,
attached to your leg or something?
I actually, I'm the last, right. I'm the last thing. Oh, but he'll dive right at my face when he's ready to play at 4:00 in the morning. But you know, I'm a truly lucky person. My life is filled with love and companionship, and I truly just get to enjoy what I enjoy and ignore what I don't. And as far as the Disney anti-woke shit, I'm just no longer listening to, but I am going to defend the show when it comes to people claiming that it's broken canon, that it hasn't broken yet. But as I'm learning through the comments in my own channel's episode, as well as what Dave had to deal with, you know, just beware. But I can compartmentalize things. Nothing you could ever do to me online here through comments or otherwise will ever affect me to the point where I'm going to not enjoy my blessed life, which I don't deserve, but still somehow have. So believe me, I don't know how I've procreated 3 times now. I'll never understand that, but it's happened. It's here. And I'm grateful for it. What do I recommend? I've been watching The Boys, so I would say this episode is not, or not this season so far, is not as crass and uncomfortable as the other ones so far. Although Homelander does do some pretty fucking diabolical stuff, but that's Homelander, which I actually, one thing I did learn is apparently there's people out there that think he's the good guy.
I heard that too. That's another thing that's going around because season 4 has been going down on. Yeah, season 4 is at 51% on Rotten Tomatoes. But there was like, there was a, it's who knows? Yeah, there was an interview with the writer, right?
Good one. Yes, mechanically I understand how it happened. I just, how I ever got the chance to do it multiple times, I'll never know. But okay. Touche, sir. Good one.
Nice.
Okay. I learned. Wow, what did I learn this week? That people suck on the internet.
Don't read the comments.
Yeah, don't read the comments. I learned that I'm starting to hate the Acolyte. I'm joining the dark side. I'm going to continue watching it, but yeah, like the whole may changing your mind at the last minute, just like, oh god. Yeah. Okay, recommendations. I don't have a lot. I'm going to recommend, if you're this far into this show and you have not yet done so, please click that subscribe button, click the bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go live on Sunday. Don't miss any of our other great content. And please smash that like button. It helps with the algorithm and gets our show out there, and we truly do appreciate it. Also, if you're watching, you might see some of our merchandise linked down below. Check it out. We got some great got 3 great t-shirt designs currently that I think you should check out. We've got our classic official t-shirt. We've got our logo t-shirt, and of course our punny t-shirt that John loves. So just check those designs out. Show your love for Superhero Speak. Buy a t-shirt today. Kazan says, yes, Dave, embrace your pain. It'll make you stronger.
It'll give you focus.
I haven't talked to the guys about this yet, but now that Don has Max, and there isn't much to talk about other than the Acolyte.
Oh no!
I think next week, for fun, guys, come on, we're gonna do Super Pets.
Oh no! You told me that was good, but I never watched it.
So yeah,
the one with the Rock.
Yes. Okay. So we're gonna watch Super Pets and talk about it next week. So I recommend go watch Super Pets if you've never seen it before. It's on Max. It's free. We'll have some fun because I'm so sick of Star Wars at this point. I really am, and I hate to say that because I'm the biggest Star Wars fan on the planet, next to Don.
That's fair.
Yeah, man. I mean, Kasan, if John and Dave catch up, we'll be on it. It's going to be a little bit hard because it's going to be a little hard though because we Wyverns anyway. It's going to be hard because the show releases when we're recording. So I don't know how up to date we could be on that, but I'll definitely talk about House of the Dragon.
I think Super Pets is more fun. So on that note, as always,
kids can watch that one with me.
There you go. Thanks for watching. Don't let your cape get caught in the door. See you next week.